We are back. Another Extra Bases with Bristol and Booth. Hi, Jeremy.
Hi, Jason.
Lot to talk about, including the Astros moving on from Ryan Pressly, which was expected.
Yeah.
I really appreciated Dana Brown's honesty following the official announcement of the trade, and Dana talked about how the relationship was following the acquisition of Josh Hader. And as you can imagine, Dana put it like this, that it was fractured a bit.
I think the relationship, took a slightly different turn. Anytime you take a major league player out of a role where they feel comfortable, I think it's going to fracture your relationship some. I think we continue to communicate. He was a true professional, and I, kept it real as a true professional myself. And so ultimately, I wouldn't say it was the same as when we first met. I think, there was some frustration, which I would totally understand from a competitor. You're moving a guy out of position who felt like he didn't deserve to lose his job. And, because you acquired, another elite closer like a Hader. And so, the whole purpose in doing all that was to really lock down the back end. And so I know in his heart of hearts, he wanted to close. And so, we've had conversations about it. And so I would definitely say that, things were different, but we kept it professional and, we got through it. Pressly has been a true professional. He accepted the role, even though he felt like, he still could close. I know he's going to get the opportunity to close in Chicago. And so, I felt like we had, some extra relievers. And if this is an opportunity where, we could free up some money and also, build for the future, I thought this was, that opportunity. And so, mainly, as I said, I got my present hat on and my future hat on, and I'm working both sides.
So I appreciate Dana's honesty, also saying that Ryan Pressly was a true professional, and he could have sugarcoated it, but I appreciate Dana's honesty. And having talked to you about this before, you were not surprised by the way Dana handled that question.
I'm not surprised by Dana. I'm not surprised by Pressly. I'm not surprised by any of that stuff. When you get professionals in the room, professionals, when given permission to do that, will do exactly what they did, right? Brian Pressly moving out of the closer role wasn't going to sit well. He's best in the closer role. We saw that when he had a chance to close some games. If you look at what he did in the postseasons in the past years, that was pretty dominant, right? And having earned that position and then moving out of that spot isn't going to sit well. Now, Dana did what he thought he had to do to win with his club. And that's when I'm talking about Josh Hader, what I'm referring to. And Pressly was moved. Just the bottom line, he was moved. I'm of the opinion that the closer role today, in many ways, is a lot like the DH, right? In many ways, it can rotate, it can move around. It's be the same guy every night. You still got to have a primary guy that does it. And they made the decision. It was Josh Hader. Ryan Pressly was not comfortable here in that spot anymore. How many years was he here? 6. Right?
Pressly was
7,
5, I think.
So 19, he was here for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so 19 through 24, that would be 6 years, kind of the pandemic.
Yes.
Okay, was here in 18?
Ryan Pressly got here in 18.
So I thought, yeah.
Okay. 18, and when he got here, he was really good. Granted, it was in a different role. He was kind of a setup guy, really didn't take over the full-time closer role until 2020, and he had 12 saves that season. Take that out, and he averaged 30 saves a season as the team's primary closer.
It's pretty good, and he was drafted and signed by Marty Esposito, I believe, Minnesota Twins. And that's who signed him. And he earned his position. He's a pro. It was time to move on. It's not fun for guys like that when it's time to move on. He'll be an Astro for life. He's an Astro for life, no matter where he plays. This is where he's going to be remembered. Much like Billy Wagner, although Hall of Famer Billy Wagner. Wagner pitched in a few different places. He's an Astro. Smoltz pitched in a few different places. John Smoltz. He's brave, right? There's just certain visions that you have of players, and Ryan Presley has cemented his legacy as an Astro, and good for both of them for handling it the way they did, and for Dana for being honest about it.
Will Ryan Presley make an impact as a Chicago Cub?
Closers can only make the impact that the clubs allow them to make, and that's when it means starting rotation, and that's offense. There's a lot of things that have to get to that safe situation, because otherwise, if the team's not in a position to win, there is no safe situation. You can get holds and quality outings and all that, but as far as slamming the door shut, that's going to depend a lot on what the rest of the club does. Now, with all that, man, the Cubs are looking like they might be okay. They're one move away from being a good team, and I mean a really good team. And that one moves looks like it might be still being under competition with the Astros, right, for that one player. So he's got a chance to make an impact. He will be good up there in his role, whatever role that is. But as far as saves and winning championships, that's a team thing, and closers are only really as good from a standpoint of the saves anyway as the rest of the club allows them to be.
This hit MLB.com the other day. The team from each division with the most on the line in 2025. Guess which team was chosen in the American League West? The team with the most on the line. I'm assuming you have not seen this.
I have not seen that, per usual. Texas Rangers, Houston Astros. Well, I mean, Angels. There's only two more.
Yep.
Sacramento Athletics.
Seattle Mariners. The most on the line.
I don't listen. Okay, I'm gonna say this in advance. Apologies to Jerry DiPoto.
Okay.
What I'm about to say. I don't count them. They always have stuff on. They've never won.
Okay.
And
why wouldn't that mean that they have the most on the line, given the pitching staff they have?
Because they never win. Jason, they've never won. We were one player away from being a World Series team when I was there, and ownership stopped us. Jerry DiPoto's been there for how many years now? Since 2015, right? 2015? Fall of 2015, he's been there 10 years. Jason, they're always one move away. And the ownership's going to put them over the top. So I understand what MLB.com is saying, but Seattle continually gets held back. So I apologize for not thinking of them. I'm thinking of the Astros dynasty, the Rangers salary they dumped into the team, stuff like that, right? I understand where they're coming from. I discount Seattle every year because I don't believe ownership helps.
All right, well, here it is. It says when the Mariners ended their 20-season playoff drought in 2022, celebrated with a wild card series sweep over the Jays, it sure felt like a breakthrough, didn't it? They had terrific young pitching, an ambitious front office, a fan base over the moon in love with a team, and, of course, a young, charismatic five-tool superstar in Julio Rodriguez, who is the envy of every other franchise in the sport. That's the sort of guy everyone wants to build around. And since then, well, nothing has really happened.
Yeah.
The pitching's been good, but the bottom has fallen out of the offense, and it has to be said, Julio still hasn't put together a season as good as the one he had as a rookie. Despite all that talk, this division would someday soon belong to the M's. Another division rival, the Rangers, went out and won their first World Series title, the one the Mariners fans, rather, are so desperate to taste.
2014, very similar article could be written about that club. We could have had Nelson Cruz. He was coming off his PED suspension. Ownership said no. Signed him the next year. Didn't really matter much. That team went to the playoffs. I think it was a wild card. It got eliminated the last day of the season, 2014. Can't remember. Felix was still Felix. Rotation was still good. Seager was playing pretty well. Cano was, we had a good club, and we just couldn't get the help to push it over the top. Ownership finds a way up there. And I know it's different owners right now. That sale happened while we were there, but ownership finds a way.
Not in a good way.
Not in a good way. They find a way. Like, as much as I don't agree with some of the moves Jerry DiPoto makes, I can't fault the dude.
No.
I can't at all. And I want to. I want to fault him, but I can't because he has his hands tied. In 2022, 23 was a regression year. And he was told when he went in there, I'll go ahead and I'll build, but you got to give me the money when I'm ready for it. He said, oh, yeah, you got it, Jerry. Yeah. Yeah. Because when we left in 2014 and 15, we weren't a bad club. The system was empty. We weren't a bad club. There's nothing the big league level to win. Jerry said, give me the money. It's, Okay. So every time, he's thwarted. So I get it. I hear it. I have no hope for Seattle. There's a lot of good people that have been through Seattle. A lot of good players been through Seattle. A lot of good GMs been through Seattle. I have no hope for them until the ownership gets out of the way.
Gosh, Seattle has one of the best uniforms too. That old school
Oh, it's
Griffey,
great.
the cream one, the cream Mariners one.
It's great, Jason. When I was there going out to the field in the clubhouse, it said there was something above there that said respect the game. And I thought, man,
Was that a Jack thing that was put up, or is
no,
that
it was
always
a Mariners thing. It was just
okay?
respect the game, and it had like the Mariners logo next to it, and you know, so I still saw some friends over there. Mike Cameron, obviously, still there.
Yeah.
Cammy's, by the way, anybody in baseball who wants an excellent outfield and base running guy who should be in the big leagues, if you don't hire Mike Cameron, I got concerns. If I went back to a club, he's one of my first hires. I'm on the phone like, hey man,
Yeah.
what's up? Cammy's outstanding, and they just can't. He'll never say this because he's going to go compete. He's helping the team and the kids, but I'll say it. In my view, that club has had several opportunities to get over the hump in the last decade alone, not to mention before that, and ownership's gonna have to get out of the way.
It's funny how teams, for whatever reason, cannot get over the hump. For whatever reason, how some organizations, no matter how much they try,
Yeah,
I look at right now the Buffalo Bills in football.
yeah.
Certainly, they had that great run in the 90s with 4 straight Super Bowls. Now, you could argue that the Kansas City Chiefs are a real reason why they can't get over the hump, but the Mariners have had the Astros and then the Rangers. And it seems like, I mean, that pitching staff last year, listen, that starting rotation, whoo,
Listen, I
the upside of that starting rotation, if it's all clicking,
there's some of the
I
best
put
in the
that up
game.
against anybody.
Yeah, no, there's some of the best in the game, but you got to have some help. You can't do it on your own. You got to have some help. They don't have it. They don't get it. It's not because of the players around them. I think in some cases because there's always find a way to not get that last piece put over the top. No 2 seasons are ever going to be the same. They're never the same. It doesn't matter if you're a player. It doesn't matter if you're a club. They're never the same. And if you act like they're going to be the same, good, bad, or otherwise, and don't get better, what happens? You go backwards. You want proof? The Astros won the World Series 2022. Did they not? 2022, they won the World Series. 2023, they didn't make any moves but sign Abreu for whatever amount of money.
That's a move. What are you talking about? That was a huge move.
Jose Abreu.
I'm saying it was a huge move.
He was already here.
Huh?
No, he wasn't here. It was,
No.
it was Yuli before. Okay.
Yeah.
And Montero.
Okay.
Right, for 13.
Well, Montero was a re-sign.
They didn't do what they needed to do. They didn't address it. Crane did it on his own with Bagwell.
See, they feel like they did do it did address
no.
it. They addressed the biggest thing that they wanted was a first baseman, slugging first baseman, and they thought they had him.
I'm going to say that they paid him on the numbers, which I understand, but that wasn't the biggest moves they needed to make. That wasn't it.
Okay.
Either way, for a lot of things they needed to do, they stood pat. I mean, a couple of moves, high-paid moves, and moved on, and the Rangers won it in 23. And who won in 24 again?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So we're back to here. Okay. So you're going to have to get some help, push people over the top, and address what you need.
I don't really want to go back to a Jose Abreu conversation,
Me
but
either.
it's crazy to see the drop-off of that guy. Anyways, the team from each division with the most on the line in 2025, the NL Central,
Chicago Cubs.
Chicago Cubs. Good news is that they've traded for 1 year of Kyle Tucker. The bad news is they're guaranteed only 1 year of Kyle Tucker.
Yeah. Yeah. That's not, that was curious to me. And then they argued in arbitration. I mean, they settled, but they argued in arbitration, So
In the NL East,
Mets.
Phillies want to
Interesting.
want to put the Mets here because of all the money they spent on Juan Soto. How about the Braves, who were ravaged by injuries last year? If you feel so inclined, sure. But no team has gone more all in than the Phillies, and no team has more accomplished veterans desperately trying to win a World Series than the Phillies.
I agree with that. The Mets are interesting because their narrative changes all the time.
Yeah.
Right. It's like, oh, we're going to go backwards for 3 years. Wait, playoffs.
Hey, let's dump Max Scherzer and Justin Verlander.
Yeah.
Hey, let's make a run to the World Series.
790 million, whatever it was, on Juan Soto and nothing against Juan Soto at 26 years old, but man, 275 and 30 with bad defense. When you really look at it, how much money? I mean, there's some pretty good players elsewhere around the league that'll give you good defense, 275 and 30.
Kyle Tucker.
That's a very good point. What's he going to get, $1 billion?
In the NL West.
I mean, I'm going to go Dodgers or Padres.
No.
Diamondbacks?
No.
Well, there's only one more.
Yes.
There's 2. Giants?
Giants.
Who? I'm gonna reserve comment.
Yep. In the AL Central. The AL Central.
First of all, AL Central, Minnesota Twins. Congratulations.
Hello, Minnesota Twins.
Congratulations to Sean Johnson.
Okay.
Becoming assistant general manager.
Sean Johnson, yes, the scouting guy.
Director, yes.
Yeah.
Sean Johnson was an area scout. When I first met him, he was becoming a cross-checker on the East Coast, went to the West Coast. That was my first year as a Twin. Became the scouting director, moved to Minnesota he was a Midwest guy from Kansas originally, but moved to Minnesota, which is a lot different than Phoenix, where he had been posting up. Moved to Minnesota, and years later now he's assistant GM. Good for Sean. Congratulations, Sean John. Could not be more well deserved, but yep, you got a lot on the line, bud. A lot to get done.
Do you want to hear about the Giants write-up? Do you want to hear that?
I'm gonna this is the part we're probably gonna end up playing on a clip. This is a clip we're gonna play. So I'll say this: San Francisco.
Why? It's not Houston related.
No, but it is. I mean, San Francisco Giants are in a weird spot. They're in a weird spot, and they have some things they should be doing and could be doing. I don't know that they are doing them from a distant view. I hope they figure it out. I don't know what they're gonna. Go ahead.
It says 3 years of frustration after the 107-win season of 2021 culminated in the firing of Farhan.
Zaidi.
Yes, and the hiring of Buster
Posey
to run baseball operations. The vibes may be a lot better in San Francisco. Having a certain smiling Hall of Famer who's adored by the fan base tends to help. But one could help but wonder if the leash is going to be just as short for Posey as it was for Farhan.
Zaidi. So let's talk about the Giants for a second.
Posey seems to have as much of the same issues getting superstars to take the Giants' money as
Farhan Zaidi
did.
Yeah.
And the additions he has brought in, Willie Adames, Justin Verlander, seem more like supporting pieces at this point of their career than stars. The biggest problem is that the rest of this division has powered up.
Oh, they're loaded. The Giants' position. All right, I will actively say this now. I kind of been, me, I kind of keep in my pocket for a while. And,
yeah.
It's no secret that Bobby Evans and I are very close, and
yeah.
we've discussed. We discussed pretty much. Now he doesn't tell me about Giants business because that's, but we discuss everything, everything else very, very, very close here. And I will tell you this: the Giants had some opportunities to do some stuff, and they, instead of addressing what they really needed to do, they overpaid in comparison to the rest of the club. And where they really are, they overpaid a few guys to come in and kind of put butts in the seats. What they needed to do was one of two directions: either to really sign people and get over that tax issue and not worry about it, like just go load up, right? Or tear it all down and start over. They don't want to do that, but they have to do one or the other. This middle road is not something you can do in that division.
Yeah.
If this was the NL Central, you got a better shot at that. You can't do that in the West with the Dodgers signing every player that comes out of Asia, every player that comes out of Latin America, the Padres drafting well and signing every free agent they can get on the same time. Like you can't do that. The Rockies have tried that periodically. That hasn't worked either, right? So you're a fourth place team in that division with Verlander, with Adames, and with Chapman. I don't know that I'm doing that. I'm probably, if I'm that close to luxury tax, I'm trading that for other pieces. I'm getting stuff in the system and giving myself a 3-year rebuild. With that in mind, though, and this is just a fact because I have a lot of friends over there, people I consider friends, and I don't want anybody to feel like I'm putting them down because I'm not. With that in mind, it's the same people Farhan had. You got Jeff Berry, who went in there. You got Bobby Evans, who went back, and you've got Randy Wynn, who went in there. Everybody else the same, right? Zach Manazian obviously elevated to be the GM, but they replaced the pro scouting director only because Zach became the GM. So what did they do to address the problems? They didn't do anything. Right. And Buster had some opportunities to do that. Granted, it's his first run. Granted, he doesn't know anything. I'll openly question right now. I'll say Jeff Berry, minor league player, agent for a long time, has some really good views on the game, but he's an agent. And his job as an agent is to protect his client. And his client is Buster Posey. And so I promise you, while Jeff is a giant, he's looking out for Buster Posey. He's not looking out for the organization as his first instinct. Doesn't mean he can't learn it. Doesn't mean he's not going to do that. That's his first instinct. It'll be interesting to see what they do. They have a lot to address, and they're picking some stuff in a weird spot. And it's a tough spot. It's a tough position, and they didn't change anything. So we'll see where it goes.
The American League East, the team with the most on the line in 2025? I think this one is pretty obvious.
The American League team with the most
American League East.
Oh, East. Yankees? Red Sox? Blue Jays?
I think Mike Elias.
Oh,
Probably.
I don't know, man. I don't know who wrote that.
MLB.com.
No, but who at MLB.com? Because I
Will Leitch.
I think, and I get the argument for all of it,
because they are right at the cusp.
but the Yankees lost Soto to the crosstown rival. The Yankees have to win. Red Sox, okay, whatever, right? But
Okay.
The Yankees are in that position. They have to step up and do it. Toronto's in a teardown mode if they don't win this year. They're tearing down. And when it comes to the Orioles, they're still on the upside of their window. I don't think that's fair yet. Now, you do this in 18 months, yeah, or another year of this young nucleus coming together. Give Grayson his third year in the big leagues. Give a Holiday, a chance to develop. Give some of these younger players that have been drafted a chance to take hold with some of the veterans they got.
Gunnar, Adley.
Yeah, give me a year. Give them a minute. They're kids.
Is it possible that they maybe arrived too quickly, much like the Astros in 2015?
I think so.
And then our expectations have been skewed a bit.
So use that as an example. When they were in the playoffs in 22? Is that correct?
So in 23, they made the playoffs. 23, they lost in the ALDS. 24, they lost in the wild card. 22, they finished 4th out of 5.
Yeah, so give them a minute, and they've lost Corbin Burns now and some other stuff. Give them another year to play. See what they got. The road to the big leagues is shorter than ever before with the 4 minor league steps, right? Plus the rookie ball step. Give them a second. I think the Yankees have a lot more on the line with the roster that's aging. Garrett Cole, Aaron Judge,
Stanton,
right? They've lost Soto. They've got DJ LeMahieu. Torres is no longer there. They've got some stuff they got to do up there. And they lost some people cross town to the Mets who, again, weren't planning on making the playoffs for 5 years, and now they're trying to win a World Series. So let's see how that one goes. I think the Twins in the Central I get. There's really the Giants because they're not going. They're a 4th place team, but that one, I'm going to go with the Yankees in the East.
Do you want to hear what was written about the Twins?
Yeah.
In 2023, the Twins at last won a postseason game for the first time since 2004. That made Twins fans very happy. But then they went down in 4 games to the Astros. And in 2024, missed the postseason entirely, despite 3 other teams in their division making it to October. They were 12-27. That was the finish. That speaks to the overall issue here. The Twins can't stay healthy and upright enough to rule this division the way their fan base believes they should. That looks like the issue once again in 2025. If Correa, Buxton, Royce Lewis can't stay on the field, it's going to be difficult for this team to win.
The Twins are, with due respect to Derek Falvey and what he's done since he's been there, and Terry Ryan and people before that, the Twins for me are difficult to envision winning anything. Great ballpark. Awesome uniforms, right? Really good athletes on the field. Yeah, we were up there. They had some arms coming out of the pulpit. I mean, it was a good place. It's just they're short. Something's missing. The put them over the top grinder factor. The actual that Bregman Altuve type guy's not there, and there's something missing from that.
Correa could be that guy, but he's not on the field enough. No,
I don't think Correa's ever really been that guy.
Okay,
I think Carlos has been, with respect, everybody's different.
Yeah,
I think Carlos has been the guy that likes being the show.
Okay,
and I think the guys at Bregman and Altuve, Bregman likes being the show, but he knows how not to be and just fit in, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Altuve is the show and doesn't care.
Mm-mm.
So I think when you're missing guys like that, Correa was the guy here that said, hey, look at me, look at me, look at me. And I don't mean that in a way that doesn't fit with the other group, because I think it was fine here. It fit with everybody. But Jeremy Pena is not that guy. And when you're in Minnesota, frankly, you got Correa, you've got Buxton and Lewis, who all are that guy. All 3 of those guys, well, Buxton was number 2, but Correa was 1, Lewis was 1, and Buxton were 2. It's hard to get drafted higher than that. In 2 cases, it's literally impossible. And so they're thinking, I'm the guy. And so they're missing that glue guy up there to really tie it together, in my opinion, that winning teams have. The Royals have it. You know who that guy is?
The glue guy?
The glue guy. Who's the glue guy with the Kansas City Royals? Royals got that guy.
Is it Bobby Witt?
Salvador Perez. He's the guy.
Okay.
He's a star. He had a shot at the Hall of Fame at one point, right? But he doesn't. He just wants to win games. You know who it was before that? It was Alex Gordon. right?
Yep.
You had guys there that were just, I want to win games. The Tigers, when I saw them, I'll never forget that rotation. We've talked about it a bunch of times. You know who the glue guy was there?
In the rotation or on the team?
Just in the rotation. As far as the team, bringing them together.
Anibal Sanchez?
No, it was Doug Fister.
Doug Fister.
Because Fister didn't care. He just went out and did it. Like Verlander was Verlander. Scherzer was Scherzer. Oh, I'm on.
Porcello is Porcello.
Yeah, Fister was like, bang, bang, see ya. You know, I mean, that's what he did. And he went out and competed. And then you look around the club, Miggy Cabrera, star, didn't care. Right? Albert Pujols, star, didn't care. If you go looking back at these teams, teams that have the guys that want to be the star, always want to be the star. The Giants, when they were good, guess what? Buster Posey didn't care, right? Just played, just good, didn't care.
Same with Baumgartner, right?
Well, yeah, didn't care. Kane, the right-hander, Matt Kane, just went out and competed, right? Lincecum was the guy at the front. Bonds was the guy at the front. Bonds enjoyed it, but Bonds could do it. No one else cared. Matt Williams didn't care. Let me go play baseball, right? The A's made their careers on that. So go look at all these winning teams. The Blue Jays back in 92, 93. You remember them. For baseball fans, we're going way back on this. Didn't care. Joe Carter, Roberto Alomar, Tony Fernandez, and everybody that's watching this is going to remember baseball, and they're going to think about how they don't care.
Kelly Gruber,
perfect example. Pat Borders, Tom Henke. Every team has them. The teams that don't have them teams that lose are the ones that overload on superstars and make it about me. Where the Astros, to tie it back to Houston, have gone wrong is they've gone too far into who's got to be the star. There's only one star here. And it's not Alex Bregman. I love him. I do. I really do. It's Jose Altuve. And I've said different points that Bregman's taken over the team and carried he has, but Alvarez, as good as he is, it's Jose Altuve. You know, so if you can understand where that rolls at, you got a chance to win. And the Twins and the clubs that we've talked about that aren't having a chance. Seattle Mariners, who's the guy? Don't tell me Rodriguez. Rodriguez wants to be at the front. Hey, he's not that guy. He's good. He's that guy. Well, he's got to be at the front, right? You know who the guy? Everybody in that pitching rotation. That's the guys right there. They all don't care. Give me the ball. Let's go. You know what I mean? So for all these different teams in the division, I mean, the Orioles, all these teams we're talking about. The ones that win are the ones that have the superstar that doesn't care.
Adley doesn't care.
He doesn't care one bit.
No.
Neither is Grayson. They don't care. Let's go play baseball, you know? And that's why the Orioles got to be given some time. Juan Soto cares. Soto's got to be that guy. You can't take a pitch the way he does and not care about the show, right? The other guys don't care. So
you mentioned Altuve. We love comments. We love comments.
Yep.
We have comments from our last podcast, which was talking about Jose Altuve and the shift to left field. Bobby 1006 says it's one thing to play left field at Daikin, but a different thing playing in these bigger parks. Without a doubt, we said that.
Yep.
Rob says Tony Kemp played a decent left field for the Astros. Similar build, size, speed, etc. as Jose Altuve. I'm not a fan of moving Altuve to left field, but his defense at second has severely declined. Paredes at second, along with Walker at first, is solid defense, which is what the right side has been missing. Bregman stays at third. Obviously, this is if Alex resigns.
Sure.
If this is Altuve's idea and desire, then I'll back Jose. He's earned that right. Wow, what a teammate. If this is the Astros or Dana Brown's idea, then I'm not for it. Altuve can make it work. He isn't winning a Gold Glove, but if Tony Kemp can do it, Altuve can too. I like what Rob is saying. I don't know if Tony Kemp is the right guy to use as an example.
I would say I'm with you that I like what he's saying. There's some things that I disagree with in there that I get the rationale here. So you and I are aligned there. What I have been scouting both of them. Altuve starting in the minor leagues and then Kemp in college. And obviously through Kemp's career and what's happened here. Tony Kemp didn't really have a home. He had to play everywhere. He had to be Tony Womack was my comp on him, right? Or he had to be a Ray Durham, which he wasn't nearly offensive like that. But that's who he had to be. Altuve's second baseman. He's a regular, everyday MVP caliber second baseman. Hosey's had some issues throwing the ball. That's what it is. The yips creeped in there a couple years ago.
And the range isn't what it once was.
Right. And if you put him in left field here, the first guy that commented, what was his name? First guy, that was good.
Bobby.
100% correct. You play in Daikin, that's one thing. It is Daikin, right? Daikin. You play in Daikin Park. You're playing in Fenway and Daikin are somewhat similar. Playing in Progressive is different. playing in Oakland or Sacramento is
Mhm.
different, you know? So I don't know that, and certainly playing Globe Life is different. Somebody who I have a lot of experience in Globe Life now. So, you know, when you get to that point, these are different conversations that I don't know. I don't know that Jose is going to be able to pull that off.
John says, real smart. Let's move him multiple times over all-star second baseman to a position he's never played in the MLB. Face palm.
Yeah, no, it's like I'm with you, John.
And then Dale Cow says, I'm good if Tuve is good.
All very fair. And I do want to, I don't read the comments, guys. Jason does all that and brings it out. I do want to tell you thank you for that because they are fun. They're fun
No,
to hear.
they're good. And
Yeah.
these are good
But-
comments. Like, these are good, constructive stuff. This is good baseball
I'd
talk.
much rather talk to baseball fans. Like, these are the guys we encounter around the ballpark. These
Yeah.
are the fans hey, what about, that's the guy, anytime.
Yeah.
Just anytime. Those guys are great. Those are all very good comments and they're all valid. They're all valid. I have a hard time envisioning Jose Altuve in left field anywhere besides Houston, even in Houston.
I can't wait to go when I go to spring training.
I'm going.
Are you?
This year I'm definitely going.
Excellent. I
I wanna
cannot
see the
wait.
condition of the field, Jason.
I cannot wait to see. I cannot wait to see if Jose Altuve has a new outfielder's glove in his locker.
I promise you he's already got one.
Okay.
It's already there because he's working on it. He lives here in Houston. He's in the ballpark, Daikin. He's working on it. You know, he's going to get to West Palm soon, like everybody else. He's going to work on it. That's what they're going to do. You know, he's a winner. He's going to prepare himself to
Sure.
do it. And
So you're saying you believe he's already working on
he
it?
has to be if he's going to play it. It's his idea. He's going to have to go out and figure it out. Now, if you're Alex Bregman, it's not my business, right? It's Alex's life. But if you're Alex Bregman and you got an MVP caliber player who's got rings, who wins batting titles, who's probably a Hall of Famer, telling you he's going to move positions for you to come back here and you don't, you're sending a pretty significant message to not only the city of Houston and the players here, but everybody else around the league. Last time I can think of something of this magnitude happening was when A-Rod went to New York and said, I will play third base because Derek Jeter's playing short, right? This guy, Jose Altuve, is making room for you to come back. Let's not argue over $10 million.
What happens if it's more than $10 million?
Well, let's say this. Let's say the number was 6 and 156. Now I have intel that, despite the guy that was yelling into the clouds at one time, that went above that. But if I'm the Astros, truthfully, on the other side, I'm like, I'm not paying you that. I'm not doing it. I'll give you 3 and 90. You want that? Here's 3 and 90. Okay, and there's option years after that because now if you want 30 million, you have to earn it. I'm not just giving it to you anymore. If he doesn't want to be under 28.5 million, what was 5 and 125 last time? Was that right?
I don't know.
That's 25 a year. Just because the last end of it was 28.5 doesn't mean the contract AAV was 28.5 just last year. So at 6 and 156, it's above that. You take it. It's 26 a year. How much more money you need, dude? It's your last big contract. If you want 180 million, because that's what you thought you could have got before, and they want 156, 160, get it done.
God, think of what kind of hero you would be coming back to Houston.
6 and 162 sounds like a fair start. That's
Now
what
it
he
would be
said.
awkward. It's going to be awkward.
Yeah, but what's he going to do? Pete Alonso is trying to go back to the Mets. He basically is screaming at Boris, "Get me signed."
Yeah, and it appears like the Mets aren't exactly
Not gonna do
thrilled.
it.
Yeah.
You had your opportunity. You pissed us off. Ultimately, we write the check. Players forget that. We write the check, right? And agents sometimes can tell them that. And Boris is famous for having a couple of clients now every year that get strung out a little bit, and these are the two. So be interesting. It's going to be interesting for Alex. Better hurry up because we're at January 29th. Is that right? And I have some stuff in the first part of February I cannot wait to get to. I got some stuff I got to do. This is going to be a fun year.
All right.
Me.
All right. Tease everybody. And then Jeremy, the one clip that will be on X and Facebook waits till the end to drop that about the
It's-
whole Alex. And if I'm Alex, I would sign now.
Yeah, I would sign now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not going to happen though.
No. I mean, could.
Could.
6 and 162 sounds about right. If they go up a little bit, they come down a little bit, let's move on. 28.5 a year. No.
Guess we'll find out together.
We will.
All right, everybody, that's going to do it for Extra Bases. As always, thank you so much for the comments. We appreciate them. We read them. And now we react to them. So again, till next time, let us know what you're thinking. And thanks for watching.